Welcome back into Mining Stock Daily, everybody. We're going to head back down to Chile here with Hart Copper. They do trade on the Venture Exchange with the symbol HART. A couple things happening or awaiting to happen here from the Tolita project, with assays still pending from that high-grade trench where the company did drill a number of holes in that area. Those assays are still pending. But in the meantime, let's head over to the Nessa property, where the company did publish results from some geochemical soil surveys at the property. And this all comes in line as the company continues to try to de-risk an potential upcoming drill program. I am a shareholder of Hart Copper. They're also a partner of the podcast. Happy to welcome in CEO Mr. Isaac Maresky. Isaac, welcome back into the podcast. Walk us through the Nessa property, and it's still early days here, but really good signs when it comes to what you're finding on surface.
Thanks for having me back, Trev. Great to be here. So we're very excited about the Nessa Complex. The Nessa Complex is a pretty massive land package. It's about 135 square kilometers. It's actually a consolidation. It's a roll-up of 4 historic assets. The first asset was contributed by our co-founder, Professor Jose Frutos. He was credited with discovering the Escondida copper mine, largest copper mine in the world, and drilling the Cerro Casale gold deposit, largest gold deposit in Chile. So he contributed an asset about a year ago called Ringo. It's a core set of claims that was historically mined by natives and artisanal miners using mules. This was when metal prices were very low. Copper was $2, gold was sub $1,000. But the grades were so rich on surface that they were able to mine with nothing more than mules. We were able to take that initial set of claims called Ringo and basically quadruple it to about 135 square kilometers, which is now our Nessa Complex, which is comprised of Ringo, Nessa, Manto Carolina, and the Rebecca claims. So 4 big sets of assets adjacent to each other. And this Nessa Complex sits just west of the Kinross La Coipa mine, which is a very large gold mine for Kinross, just south of the Codelco state-owned copper complex, a massive copper complex, and just northwest of Rio 2's Phoenix gold mine, one of the newest gold mines in the district. So a really nicely located property. Now, we know about 13 historic mining pits for copper and gold on these assets. We've run a couple rock geochemical surveys where we got really high grades of copper and gold, up to 10 grams per ton gold, up to 1,000 grams per ton silver, up to 4%, 5% copper in the rock chips. But it was now time to take it up a level to do the soil geochemistry survey. And in this survey, it was much more of a comprehensive grid survey. We covered about 1,400 hectares, so about 10% of the property, obviously the prioritized section of the asset. And we took about 780 samples. And what we discovered is 2 or 3, I guess I should say 2 big ones and 1 smaller one, but 2 really substantial anomalous areas of elevated gold, copper, and silver. So we have basically these 2 big anomalous areas. And what's interesting is one of the areas is on top of some of the historic mining pits, and one of the other areas is actually a totally new area that we've kind of discovered through this survey. But both of these anomalous gold, copper, and silver geochemical soil zones, they are both right dead center in the middle of a large regional mag anomaly. So I can take you through more details on that, but Nessa is really turning out to be a really interesting asset. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't think a lot of people even realize that we own this property because everyone's focused on our Vicuña assets.
Mm-hmm. It was 780 samples altogether, I think I read in the news release. But what from the samples, what did it prove to you or show you that maybe you didn't quite understand before the program? Or is this really just maybe more importantly lining up these the soil chems with the magnetic data just to see where potential juice was?
We're really trying to follow the science. So we know about the historic mining pits. We know about this really large regional magnetic anomaly. And in order to take this asset into the drilling phase, we have to really add a couple more layers of scientific data. So this is one critical piece of the puzzle. This is the geochemical soil analysis. Now we're going to advance into trenching. and maybe some IP surveys. And we're already planning those. But once we add those layers of data, then we can really credibly justify some drill holes here. So our job is to take this asset from where it was, which is a bunch of historic mining pits where people were, natives were mining high grade, visible anomalies on surface or outcrops on surface. And our job is to take it from there to a potential deposit where we're going to be drilling hopefully as soon as possible. So the way to do that is to validate all the historic mining pits, which we did in that initial, I guess, we'll call it ground truthing survey, where we did those rock samples and we got even higher grades than we were expecting. And then we took it into this most recent survey, which is a more comprehensive survey where we had 8 great geologists effectively living on the site for several weeks. And the results are, I guess, better than we were expecting. So I'm very excited about this.
Okay. You did mention only this survey only covered 10% of the entire Nessa land package. So about 1,400 hectares. Was this area deliberately chosen because you believed it was the best part of the property, or do you see comparable prospective geology across the remaining 90%? Or maybe don't see respective geology across the 90%?
We love the entire complex, and that's why we consolidated all this land, because each of the properties that we claimed or acquired had unique attributes or reasons for being acquired. The reason we focused on this specific section of the property is because it covers the vast majority of the 13 historic mining pits. It covers a lot of the outcrops that we knew about. And more importantly, it covers the dead center bullseye of this regional mag anomaly. So if you look at the picture we published, you'll see a big donut-looking structure, which is a big mag anomaly that was actually conducted by CERNAGEOMIN, which is effectively the National Geological Survey of Chile. And so we focused on the known mining pits where they had historically high grades and where we knew about this huge regional magnetic anomaly where there's obviously something happening there. And so the results over-delivered, and now we have to add some trenching, go a little bit deeper, add some more geophysics, and then hopefully we'll be ready for drilling Nessa.
Okay. You did mention some mapping, trenching, geophysics, IP, obviously before the drill program. Um, and so obviously there's a lot of work here yet to be done to get you to feel comfortable before allocating capital for a drill program at Nessa. But maybe what specifically would you need to see here, Isaac, to allocate capital to really get that thing going with the drill program?
My goal has always been to have Nessa ready for drilling in 2026.
Okay.
And so we may be able to start drilling before the end of the year. It might be until the beginning of next year where we start drilling, but the idea is to tick off meticulously those surveys that we're able to do to groom the asset and upgrade the asset to be drill ready. In the background, we're going to start doing geochem surveys on the rest of the assets to figure out, are there more anomalies worth potentially drilling? But in parallel, we're going to be taking this core group of claims, which mostly covers Ringo and Nessa, the 2 middle blocks of properties. And the idea is to now trench those assets, add a couple more layers of geophysical data, and then start with the RC drilling. And I'm really excited about RC drilling because this asset seems to have potential for shallow mineralization, given the fact that it was mined very shallowly in the past. And hopefully that's going to be a good diversifier for us, given most of our drilling is deep diamond drilling in the Vicuña.
Yeah. I've been, excuse me, I've been to Nessa. I've seen one of these historic adits there, so it does exist. Some beautiful rock there at surface. So it's nice to see continued progress for hopefully a maiden drill program under the Goldhart Copper tutelage here. But obviously, a lot of work to go. Let's take a step back over to Tolita here, Isaac. As I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, we are awaiting assays from those RC holes from the high-grade trench. I think it sounds inevitable, and I always hate to ask for timelines, but I think a lot of people want to know what to expect. So I will ask, what are the timelines here potentially for those RC assays?
I think we'll have those 7 holes in the next couple weeks. So if I had to guess, our next press release would either be announcing the results from those 7 RC holes into the high-grade trench at Tolita in the Vicuña, or our next press release would be announcing, hopefully, knock on wood, that everything goes well, full acquisition of the Copioso asset. But they're both imminent.
Okay. The other thing I was going to leave you with, and I know it sounds like there's been some real severe winter weather down in Chile, mostly in the Atacama. Has operations or anything been hindered with the properties under the Gold Heart portfolio, or was it typically just because of the winter there wasn't going to be much work done at these areas, anyways?
That's exactly right. So we are basically in analysis mode and assaying mode anyways. So
Okay.
we've taken note of these different activities going on, and hopefully everybody's okay. That is working in the field right now, but we actually focus on working starting usually September, October anyways. So it hasn't had a huge
Mhm.
impact on Gold Heart.
Do you
Um,
think it might delay access back to these properties?
I think in the case of Nessa, there might be an extra few weeks of additional
Okay.
road rehabbing because we built quite a bunch of roads to get access for this latest survey. Some of those roads may need to be rehabbed a little bit, but I'm not anticipating more than a couple weeks delay.
Yeah, a skier's paradise, not so much for a geological exploration team. Let's say
That's
that.
right.
Okay.
That's right,
All right.
Trev.
All right. Isaac, thanks so much for your time. We'll touch base here hopefully the next couple of weeks with those final assays that remain pending from Tolita and that high-grade trench. Gold Heart Copper does trade on the TSX Venture with the symbol HART. Isaac, we'll talk to you again here imminently.
I look forward to it, and I look forward to updating you hopefully also on the Copioso asset coming soon.
The information presented should not be considered investment advice. Mining Stock Daily and its affiliates are not responsible for any loss arising from any investment decision in connection with the material presented herein. Please do your own research or speak with a licensed financial representative before making any investment decisions.